This one's wife. As ever, a PR disaster. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. It's pretty easy to work out that if you're creating something, that unless you want people to know about it by way of generating early interest, you ensure that you keep your product, your service, your offering, your film, your book, etc. under wraps until you are happy with what it is that you've created and that you have your marketing campaign in place. This then means that what it is that you're producing, delivering, showing is the best that you can make it. This naturally results in an increased possibility of success. By ensuring that your marketing and PR campaign is aligned to this offering, that it's been set up, that the bookings have been made, that the advertising space has been purchased, that the reveal might be in one go, or it might be by virtue of teaser trailers. However you do it, you ensure that you have all of your ducks in a row. You ensure that it's all organized. There is thorough preparation in respect of this. And those that have created an excellent offering allied with a superb marketing campaign find that the results are such that there's a huge amount of interest, which translates into eyes on the product, which turns into people purchasing it, and it develops momentum. This one's wife created ARO. As I've explained before, in order to have something that she could then use to overshadow, first of all, William and then Catherine when she appeared at Trooping the Colour, this one's wife rushed out the announcement of ARO, later backpedaling to suggest that it was a soft launch. This launch was a cryptic Instagram page with her ring audition video, and thereafter no engagement, no content creation, and such that the tiles on the Instagram page slid so they don't even read American Riviera Orchard any longer. We then had the jam scam, see parts passim, and she brought forth the jam and the dog biscuits in a pathetic attempt to usurp attention in respect of Catherine attending at the Trooping the Colour. As ever, the law of collateral consequences paid a visit to this one's wife, which meant that the launch of ARO was entirely amateurish and premature because there was no infrastructure, there was no product, there was no marketing campaign. And as so aptly described all of that time ago, the patient was dead and ought to be thrown in a shallow grave. And yet, alongside this one's wife was also utilising something called As Ever, having sought to secure the rights back in 2022. But even this, and this is where it shows that she is an abject loser and so fucking useless, and demonstrates the arrogance of her narcissism because she thinks that she knows best. ARO was an absolute clusterfuck. I am pretty certain that it will appear in marketing courses as how not to market a brand. And yet, what does this one's wife do? She doesn't learn from that. She doesn't learn from doing something half-arsed. She doesn't learn from avoiding the shoddy. She doesn't learn about ensuring that what it is that you're creating is in place and appropriate and kept hidden until you are ready to reveal it. She just doesn't learn because her narcissism doesn't allow her to learn, because through that distortion field, she always thinks that what she produces is fantastic. And if it doesn't work, and she can see that ARO hasn't worked because it hasn't sold a damn thing, and it's been roundly ridiculed, her narcissism just simply says, I was badly advised by my marketing people. The weather was bad that day, that's why it didn't work. The moon was waxing. That's why it didn't work. It's always something else or somebody else's fault. And thus off she goes with, as ever, another excruciatingly crap concept. Not only doesn't she learn in that nobody wants a lifestyle brand from her because most people don't like her, and given the way the world is at the moment, trotting out your supposedly idyllic lifestyle when other people are nervous about the future, that they're struggling financially themselves, they don't want this kind of overpriced fantasy world thrust down their throats. Once upon a time, people might find an escape from the hardships of life by buying into such images, but no longer, and certainly not in respect of someone who is near universally disliked. But she doesn't learn. She doesn't listen. And naturally, as a consequence of this latest clusterfuck, I had communication with my PR expert to ask her what she thought. What did she think? And I'm sure there'll be more as more unfolds. But I wanted her initial impressions of what she had witnessed, what she could see from a PR perspective. Her initial comment to me was that basically that her grey matter aches all over every time she has to analyse this batshit crazy trash. But naturally, she pushes through the pain for your glorious narrator. Now, my PR expert understands a lot about narcissism as a consequence of engaging with my work, and yet, notwithstanding her high-level understanding of it, she still expresses disbelief that somebody would do something so stupid as this one's wife has done in relation to as ever. My PR expert confessed that every time she trots out another fucking stupid scheme, she says to herself, I can't believe she's gone and done this. And yet she keeps going. It's another day and another messy this one's wife's business launch that isn't actually a launch. So, as predicted by both myself and my PR expert, American Riviera Orchard is dead. And it's been thrown into that shallow grave. And it never really got past the handing out a free jam to friends phase and has been quietly abandoned and now replaced by as ever. Why? Because this one's wife changed her mind. She hasn't actually provided any real explanation other than in the Instagram video about how American Riviera would constrain her. But as I've mentioned previously, that's the half-truth. There's no accountability in relation to it. ARO is just gone. What happened to the contacts collected when people register for ARO updates? Used, pocketed, yet never delivered upon. Once again, this one's wife, operating in the moment and not following through. She's appropriated that information with nothing in return. And remember, contact lists are the hottest commodity in sales, marketing, and communication. She could sell the people's email list she got from ARO for a hefty sum. Maybe she's already done that and we've not heard about it. My PR expert was very clear. Very clear. Professional brands don't treat their audience like this. Consumers expect engagement. They expect storytelling. They expect consistency. This one's wife delivers none of those things. Respect for consumers? Bollocks. It's non-existent. And this is representative of the high-handed, haughty nature of her narcissism, her grandiosity. This one's wife's big reveal came one day after the successful Invictus event, where Harry, for once, was actually getting some positive media attention. Naturally, this couldn't stand. The moment the veterans were in the spotlight, this one's wife stormed in to snatch it back. This rebrand isn't about a business. It's about her. The entire Instagram reel is just her posing, flipping her hair, looking vaguely reflecting. But what's actually missing from all of this? As you know from my earlier explanation, this video was trotted out in order to nullify the threat to control posed by the leaking of the information. But she has an excellent opportunity to talk more about the actual brand, to give people something that they might actually be interested in, to talk about it in a way which gets people engaged. But she doesn't, because she's useless. What does she do? She talks about herself. What does As Ever sell? That should be one of the first things that should be coming out of it. Jam is my jam is just bullshit because it's not a product per se. What's the mission of As Ever? Who's it for? No one knows. She doesn't convey this because it's all about her appearing on the camera rather than talking about the actual As Ever, what it stands for, what it's going to deliver. My PR expert said this is quite clearly American Riviera Orchard 2.0. Same font, same aesthetic, same letter A at the start, same complete lack of product clarity. But now it has a new, even vaguer name that references how she signs her emails. Because what's more important than reminding everyone who they're dealing with? Yes, you're dealing with this one's wife, because it's all about her. Not the product, not you, her. In her video, this one's wife claims Netflix is behind her as ever, yet Netflix itself has said absolutely nothing. That isn't how billion-dollar companies operate. My PR expert made it clear that if Netflix was truly backing this as a major business partnership, there would be official statements, press releases, maybe even organised a formal launch event. Instead, we got an influencer-style Instagram reel of this one's wife in casual clothes like she's promoting some Etsy candle line. It reeks of another technically not a lie situation. Perhaps Netflix is producing the show, maybe there is a minor tie-in, but a full business venture? Highly doubtful. We'll see if Netflix steps in to clean up this mess. If they do, one expects a vague statement to confirm their involvement, just enough to save face, but nothing close to what this one's wife implied. Here's the reality. This one's wife needs As Ever to work, or she loses her golden ticket to the Netflix money train. She's already burned through her goodwill in Hollywood. No major studios are lining up to work with her, and the Spotify deal collapsed. If As Ever flops, the Netflix deal is done. And she knows it. This is why she's finally ready to merge her kids. It's already started with Lily being on the landing page. Expect them to suddenly focus, appear in soft focus promo shots, conveniently integrated into this lifestyle brand. Because when all else fails with this narcissist, exploit the family angle. But it's going to fail, like everything else this clown touches, because one, she's lazy. She doesn't do the actual work of building a brand, research, development, testing, real storytelling. Because of her magical thinking and her delusion, she expects things to succeed on her name alone. She thinks that she can just talk about it and it'll work. 2, she doesn't take advice. Any decent PR or branding team would have stopped this train wreck before it even started. But she doesn't listen because of her need for control, and her high-handed arrogance is such that she thinks she knows better. And 3, she refuses to acknowledge mistakes. Again, because her narcissism won't let her, when ARO flopped, she should have just quietly walked away. She just quietly walked away rather than actually fixing it. She never, ever learns. As Ever is just another doomed vanity project. It'll generate some buzz, and then it'll fade away like everything else. But she won't take responsibility. She'll blame Netflix, the media, the public, anyone but her. And once again, we'll all be watching, as ever, the slow motion collapse. There's going to be more about this from the PR perspective, but those are the initial observations. As ever, this one's wife has messed up. As ever, it's another PR disaster for her. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.